Hi, I'm Mrs. Wiest.
And hi, I'm Mrs. Malabago. We're your school counselors, and today we're going to talk to you about grief and trauma.
What is grief? Grief is our response to loss. We grieve when we lose something, when we lose an experience, or when we lose someone. What is trauma? Trauma is when we have a mental shock and painful emotions to a situation we experience or to something that we witness that our mind can't quite handle. Grief and trauma can happen at the same time. Grief is often our heart-centered approach, whereas trauma is our brain-centered approach.
Grief and trauma can cause many different side effects, things that you experience that might be unexpected. What we want you to understand is these side effects are normal. You may experience emotional side effects. Some kinds of emotions you might experience could range from being angry to sad. You could cry uncontrollably or even experience uncontrollable laughter or sense of humor. You might feel sorrow. All of these things are normal in the experience of grief, and they're different for everyone. If you switch back and forth between emotions, know that it's all part of the process. You may experience physical side effects. Some physical symptoms you might notice as you feel tired all the time. You might feel a tightness in your throat or in your chest, feel like you're constricted. You might feel some nausea. You might even have an inability to fall asleep. Again, all of these things are normal part of the process, so allow them to take their course. You could experience what we're going to call thinking side effects. You kind of forget why you walked into the room after you walk in. Maybe you're in the middle of a sentence and you lose concentration and forget what you were going to say. You might even lose something. Again, these are normal parts of the grieving process, so allow yourself the grace to experience them. Finally, you might experience some philosophical side effects. I think these are some of the hardest ones to address. It's where you start asking unanswerable questions. Why did this happen? Why did it have to be me impacted by this? Why did this person have to have this happen? All of those, again, are a normal part of the process, asking questions, wondering why, but you also have to accept that sometimes there's just no answer. So if you experience any of these emotional, physical, thinking, or philosophical side effects as you're going through the grieving or trauma experience, please know that it's normal and it's okay to not feel okay.
Some things that we can do to help work through grief and trauma are keeping a journal, so writing down your thoughts and how you feel. Another thing that you can do is cry. Much needed relief, both emotionally and physically. And lastly, a very important thing to do when processing grief and trauma is talking. Talk to a friend that you trust, talk to a trusted adult, or talk to someone here at school, whether that's your school counselors or a teacher or anyone you feel comfortable with. Talking can be a great way to process what you're going through.
You might be asking yourself, how can I help my friend or loved one who's grieving or recently experienced a traumatic event? Some of the things that you might want to do is say something like, I'm so sorry for your loss. Be sure you don't say, it's going to be okay. Right now it's not okay for your friend or loved one, and that's all right. Just make sure you're validating their feelings by saying, I'm sorry for your loss. You also want to consider offering comfort. Comfort comes in different ways depending on the grieving process that your friend or loved one is in. You may offer comfort by sitting and just listening to them talk about their feelings or what they're going through. You may offer comfort by just sitting with them in silence. Sometimes just being there as a support when someone says nothing at all is exactly what they need. When they're ready to talk, they'll talk to you. So don't push them and ask them to talk. Allow them to come to you. You also want to be present. Be there with them and understand and acknowledge what they're going through. Knowing the side effects of grief and trauma that we discussed earlier really helps you to be present for your friend or loved one and to understand exactly why they're going through the things that they're going through at the moment. Don't avoid them just because they're emotional or sad, but be there, be present for them.
If you or someone you know is experiencing grief or trauma, please reach out to your school counselors or to Lynn County Mental Health. Our numbers will all be listed below.